तन पनो प्रेमामृतं मणिभी धीरा धीर जनप्रियं प्रियकरो निमाचरं पूजितौ श्री चैतन्य प्रभुं हृदि तारकं वन्दे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगं श्रीजीवगोपालकं कृष्ण चैतन्य तनपनो प्रेमामृतं धीरा धीर जनप्रियं प्रियकरो निर्मत्सरं पूजितं नानाशास्त्रविचारं सद्धर्म संस्थापकं लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नो शरण्यागनो सद्धर्म संस्थापकं लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नो शरण्यागनं राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजनानन्देन नत्वालिकं वन्दे रूपसनातनं रघुजुगं श्रीजीवगोपालकं श्री चैतन्य नमस्ते कमंडलपति शनि सदा क्षमा उत्पादीन गणेश सकरु करुणया कोटीन कंठासितं तत्पासु नमस्ते समंडलपति शनि सदा क्षमा उत्पादीन गणेश सकरु करुणया कोटीन कंठासितं Gopi Bhavarasambhita Hari Kallola Vande Rupa Sanatana Bhajavan Gopalakau Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Premamritam Ganidhi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Premamritam Radha Krishna Mahansan Prabhadato Jiva Yoga Vande Rupa Sanatana Bhajavan Gopalakam Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Premamritam Dhira Dhira Janapriyam Yakadam Mimatsaram Sankha-purva-kanama-ganati Balavasanikkundam Nidrahara-vihara-padi-viditam Chattantam-dinam-tajam Sankha-purva-kanama-ganati Balavasanikkundam Nidrahara-vihara-padi-viditam
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me?
Navinida Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Jai Prabhupada. Yes, I can hear you. And I'm going to, let me just really quickly check. Yeah. So we have a few minutes to 7 o'clock.
Sure.
And we'll just wait and maybe I'll just let the music play while more devotees are going to join.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Is the light sufficient?
We could do with a little more. Are you able to read? Yeah, because half of you is in shade.
Is that better?
Actually, yeah, even if you sit facing the window, after some time it's going to become dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one light here.
Only okay. Yeah, we'll make it.
So basically, it's just straight reading for an hour and a half. That's it.
Yes, straight reading for an hour and a half. But I will leave it up to you if you want to, be interactive, stop, or at the end. But the hour and a half is all yours, Navin.
What, they do kirtan or they just do reading? What's the
we didn't do kirtan, but if you like to, you can. But it'll have to be, the call and response is not working properly because of the delay. Yeah. But it could be just you doing a little bhajan. That's very much, it'll add a little music.
So I'm not too dark in this?
A little bit. Let me just see. Yeah. There's a delay. But it could be just you doing a little bhajan. That's very much, it'll add a little music. Yeah, it is a little bit dark. It is dark.
I can go to a
Yeah.
different room.
Yeah.
Where we got more.
This is very good.
Oh.
Yeah, this one is good.
You sure?
But yeah, we lost sight of you. Now this is good. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Better?
And yes, much, much, much better. We can see you
Now I
clearly.
got the halo.
Haha, but that's good. It's at the
Yeah,
right
right.
place.
Well, maybe not. Hard to get rid of it. It's just the glossy paint, you know.
Yeah, paint. Yeah, yeah.
What about the other wall? Let's try the other wall. How is this side? How is this?
Yes. Yeah, no hello.
Huh?
Yeah, that hello went away.
Halo is wet. It's gone. Okay,
It's
good.
gone. Yeah, that's gone.
That's
Yeah.
strange.
So, dear devotees, I'd like to welcome Naveen Neeraj Prabhu. It's indeed our good fortune that he's going to read to us from the Ramayana. And especially he's going to read today from the Yuddha Kand. That's what we're starting. Thank you so much, Naveen Neeraj Prabhu, for making time for us and coming and reading. So those of you who have the book, we are reading from the Yuddha Kand, going to read from the Yuddha Kand today, which is page number 326.
Hare Krishna. Om Gyanitimrandasya Ginanjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svanrupa Darati Swapadantikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sudeti Giradhar Shiva Sri Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate grimyat kripatam aham vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramanandamaravam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. So we're reading from the Ramayana Yuddha Kanda. Ram was extremely pleased with Hanuman's extraordinary accomplishment. He praised Hanuman, saying, "Except for Garuda, no one else could do what you did. Of all servants, the best is he who accomplishes more than the duty entrusted by his master. A mediocre servant is he who never attempts to do more than that which his master orders, even though he may be capable of doing more. Finally, the worst servant among the lowest of men is he who does not carry out the order of the master, even though qualified. Dear Hanuman, you have not only found Sita, but also comforted her with your words. You surveyed the entire city of Lanka, tested the strength of the great Rakshasa warriors, and struck fear into the heart of Ravan. Indeed, your service has saved my very life. Thus, it greatly pains me that I cannot reward you properly. Since I am living in exile without proper means, all I can offer in exchange for your service is my embrace." Saying this, Ram affectionately pressed Hanuman to his heart. Then Ram turned to Sugriva and said, We now know where Sita is, but how will the monkeys ever be able to cross the ocean? It suddenly appears to me that all our hopes and hard labor have been rendered useless. Falling silent, Ram became engrossed in thought. Sugriva replied, "O my lord, you should cast off your grief. Just as an ungrateful person can easily give up kindness, for one who lacks enthusiasm, all activities become the cause of misery. For one whose mind is bewildered by grief, all endeavors end in failure. I take great delight in the prospect of fighting with the Rakshasas. I'm convinced that the monkeys are equal to the task. Perhaps we could somehow build a bridge across the ocean. If the monkeys could only get to Lanka, I'm sure they will emerge victorious." Looking to Hanuman, Ram said, "Utilizing my mystic power, I can easily cross the ocean or dry it up if you so desire. Therefore, please describe to me in detail the fortifications of Lanka and any other relevant information gathered in your foray." Hanuman eagerly replied, "Lanka has 4 types of defenses. Their first defense is natural. The city is situated atop a high mountain, encircled by a river and surrounded by dense forests. Then there are fortifications. High golden walls surround Lanka, with 4 massive gates facing the 4 directions, each equipped with gigantic catapults. Surrounding the walls are wide moats filled with fierce alligators. 4 drawbridges, which lead to the 4 gates, span these moats. When I set fire to Lanka, I broke all the drawbridges and tore down many sections of the wall. My dear Lord Ram, may I suggest that only the greatest warriors, such as Angada, Dvida, Mainda, Jambavan, Panasa, Nila, and myself, jump over to Lanka. We can defeat Ravan without any need to worry about transporting the entire army of monkeys across the ocean." Ram replied, "It is my vow that I shall personally go to destroy Lanka." Turning to Sugriva, Ram said, "The sun is now at the meridian, and the auspicious time called Abhijit has arrived. This is the opportune time to begin a military campaign. Likewise, there is trembling in my right eyelid, indicating victory. Therefore, quickly assemble the monkeys so that we can begin our march to Lanka immediately." Lakshman and Sugriva applauded Ram's initiative, and without moments, hordes of monkeys emerged from the caves and the wooded mountain slopes. Ram then ordered Nila, "I want you to march in front of the army. Take some of the monkeys with you and have them spread out in all directions, just in case enemy warriors are waiting to ambush us. Leave all weak monkeys behind, for the conquest we face is formidable." Ram then arranged the army so he was riding upon Hanuman's back in the center of the formation, with Lakshman riding upon Angada. Thus, as Sugriva passed Ram's orders through the ranks, the army set out to the south. The powerful monkeys marched on with great bravado, roaring like lions and leaping up and down. Sometimes they somersaulted or rode piggyback, or threw each other into the air in sport. Appearing cheerful yet playfully aggressive, the energetic monkeys lashed their tails about, uprooting creepers and dislodging stones as they clambered up and down the hills. Traveling along, Lakshman said to Ram, "Look at the auspicious symptoms around us. There is a cool and fragrant breeze blowing behind us, and the forest animals are making noises that indicate their satisfaction. Indeed, the land itself appears to be in a peaceful condition, while overhead the sun is shining especially bright." The army traveled on day and night, eager to fight for Sita's recovery. While traveling, the monkeys bathed and sported in the mountain lakes, ate fruits and roots, and drank honey from the forests. Finally, Ram arrived at Mount Mahendra and climbed to its peak. From there, he could see the vast ocean stretching to the horizon. When Ram rejoined the monkeys at the bottom, the army continued on. Before long, they arrived at the seashore. Ram told Sugriva, "We are now confronted with the problem of crossing over the ocean. How can we possibly cross? Let the monkeys set up their camp while we devise some means for reaching Lanka." As they busied themselves pitching camp, the monkey hordes appeared like a great brown sea, agitated with tossing brown waves. The monkey leader gazed with wonder at the vast ocean, which is the refuge of demons, going all the way down to the lowest planetary system. With wide open eyes, the army stared at the fathomless sea, infested with aquatic monsters like the 100 yojana long timi fish, and a timingillas, which can swallow the timis in a single gulp. The monkey heroes beheld the impassable expanse of wave-heaving, wind-whipped water with Lanka on the other side. While sitting at leisure, Ram said to Lakshman, "It is said that grief disappears with the passage of time. However, my anguish in separation from Sita only increases with the passing of each day. Oh, Lakshman, my most painful thought is of how Sita's allotted time is steadily slipping away. My heart burns with longing for the time when I shall kill Ravan and rescue her. Only then will I be able to cast off my grief for good, just as a person throws away his old worn-out garment." As Ram vented his anguish before Lakshman, the sun gradually set. After witnessing Hanuman's devastating prowess, Ravan called a meeting with all the leading Rakshasas. The Rakshasa king said, "Impenetrable Lanka has been ravaged. My palaces are in ruins, and many of the best Rakshasas, warriors, are dead. According to authoritative opinion, the root cause of victory is good counsel. That is why I've called you all here. There are three classes of men in this world. Before acting, the wise person takes counsel of superiors and friends who have a common interest. Then, according to their advice, he exerts himself to his fullest capacity, while ultimately depending on providence. The mediocre person thinks over a matter himself, considering things in the light of his own understanding, and then acts accordingly. The vilest of men are those who entirely give up faith in God and perform their actions whimsically, without a sense of duty, being unable to properly judge what is beneficial and what is harmful. Such persons go ahead blindly, saying, 'I shall do it no matter what.' Similarly, there are three types of advice. Good advice is given after an objective study of the problem and in alignment with religious principles. Mediocre advice is given after heated discussion of the problem and places more emphasis upon self-interest than religious principles. Bad advice is that which is given out of false pride or flattery, and which does not properly take into consideration the ultimate consequences." I'm convinced that very soon Ram will come to attack Lanka with an army of monkeys. His prowess was demonstrated at Janastan. Thus, I have no doubt he will be able to cross the ocean without difficulty. My dear Rakshasas, all of you are very intelligent. I want your advice about what must be done for our welfare. Ignorant of Ram's strength and eager to please their master, the Rakshasas replied, "O king, why should you be afraid? You are powerful enough to defeat all your enemies single-handed. Just remember how you defeated Kubera, taking Lanka away from him. Remember how Mayadanava fearfully handed over his daughter Mandodari to you. Why should you even bother to worry? You can rest peacefully while your son Indrajit annihilates Ram and all the monkeys before they even cross the ocean. Previously, after defeating all the demigods, Indrajit arrested Indra, king of heaven, keeping him captive at Lanka. Only at Lord Brahma's request was Indra allowed to go free and resume his heavenly post. Ravan's commander-in-chief, Prahasta, then said, We have conquered the demigods, Danavas, Gandharvas, and Pishachas. Why should we be afraid of these mere mortals? Hanuman was only able to exert his prowess because we were unwary, considering him to be a mere monkey. Another Rakshasa named Durmukha stood up and declared, I will not allow this insult to go unavenged. Wherever they may be, in heaven, on earth, or within the sea, I shall rid the world of every single monkey. Brandishing a club stained with flesh and blood, the Rakshasa Vajra Dangshtra shouted, who cares for fighting with a bunch of monkeys? It is Ram and Lakshman whom I shall crush to death. O king, just give me the order. Another Rakshasa named Vajrahanu, as large as a hill, boasted, O king, remain here and conduct your business as usual. Drink wine and make merry while I attend to Ram, Lakshman, and their army of monkeys. Indeed, many of the Rakshasa heroes boasted of their prowess, assuring Ravan that they could conquer the enemy single-handed. Brandishing their weapons, the agitated Rakshasas were poised for combat when Vibhishana politely restrained them. When they were seated, the pious Vibhishana said, my dear elder brother, the wise have advised that violence should be resorted to only after the other three tactics of conciliation, gifts, and dissension have failed. Even then, violence only succeeds against those who are evil, unwary, under siege by another enemy, or doomed by fate. Ram is supremely powerful and virtuous, and eager for revenge. How can you hope to defeat him? Sita's abduction is the root cause of our present crises. You should return her to Ram before his arrows destroy Lanka and all its inhabitants. After hearing Vibhishan's advice, Ravan dismissed the assembly and retired to his quarters. The next morning, Vibhishan came before Ravan as the Rakshasa king sat on his throne, listening to the Brahmins offer prayers for his welfare. Seating himself nearby, Vibhishan said, my dear elder brother, ever since you brought Sita to Lanka, many inauspicious omens have manifested. The sacrificial fire now gives off sparks and smoke, and snakes are frequently found inside the kitchen and sacrificial arenas. The offerings made in sacrifice are sometimes full of ants, and swarms of crows perch atop the palaces. Vultures continuously hover over the city, and she-jackals can be heard crying out ominously every morning and evening. This is all because of your sinful act of kidnapping Sita. O Ravan, the only atonement for you is to return her to Ram at once. I speak to you honestly, whereas your other ministers simply flatter you because they are afraid of incurring your displeasure. Because Ravan was overwhelmed by his desire to enjoy Sita, he became angry upon hearing his brother's sagacious advice. Nearly shouting, Ravan declared, I do not fear Ram or anyone else. I shall never agree to return Sita under any circumstance. My dear younger brother, you may take your leave and go about your business. In the months since kidnapping Sita, Ravan had grown emaciated due to his unfulfilled passion for Sita. Even his relatives had begun to disrespect him because of his abominable acts. Knowing war to be imminent, the king of the Rakshasas wanted to consult further with his ministers. Thus, the next day, he ordered them to convene again. Thereafter, when Ravan arrived at the assembly hall, riding upon his chariot, everyone offered their respects by bowing their heads to the ground, as thousands, are you guys still there?
Yes, Navindra Prabhu, most of them are on mute,
All
so
good?
that we don't get the background noises, but they are there.
All right.
Yeah. We also broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube.
All
So
right.
devotees are watching from there also.
No worries. I just clicked on the wrong button.
Okay.
But I'm here.
Okay.
All right. Knowing war to be imminent, the kings of the Rakshasas wanted to consult further with his ministers. Thus, the next day he ordered them to convene again. Thereafter, when Ravan arrived at the assembly hall, riding upon his chariot, everyone offered their respects by bowing their heads to the ground, as thousands of trumpets heralded his arrival. Ravan said to his commander, Prahasta, you must immediately ensure that our army is ready to defend the city, both from within and without. As Prahasta left to oversee the army's preparations, Ravan addressed the assembly. My dear Rakshasas, I'm pleased to announce that after sleeping for 6 months, Kumbhakarna has awakened and is gracing us with his presence today. Please listen attentively, for I want you all to fully understand my position. As you know, I've become obsessed with the lovely limbed Sita. Indeed, I've become the slave of my passion for her. Then, hoping to put himself in a better light, Ravan began weaving a deceitful tale, saying, Sita has agreed to become my consort, but only after the expiration of 1 year. That is the exact time I have allotted for Ram to come to her rescue. For this reason, I have remained patient, but it now appears that Ram, Lakshman, and a vast army of monkeys are preparing to attack Lanka. In truth, I do not feel that the two mere human beings and a band of monkeys can pose much of a threat. However, since one monkey, Hanuman, was able to inflict so much damage upon us, I must admit that victory is uncertain. That is why I have called for all of you. I want you to advise me how I can kill Ram, thus keeping the lovely Sita for myself. Kumbhakarna then stood up and sharply replied, O foolish king, you should have consulted us when you planned to kidnap Sita, instead of acting impulsively. That would have saved you from repenting later on. Regardless, you may give up your great anxiety, for I shall counteract your blunder by killing Ram and Lakshman and devouring all the monkeys. Mahaparshva then spoke up. O king, why should one not taste the honey procured with great endeavor within the snake-infested forest? You can forcibly enjoy Sita to your heart's content. Who can stop you? No one is as powerful as you are. You are free to do as you like, without fear. Ravan replied, there is something in my past that I've always kept a secret. Since you have inquired, I will now disclose to you an incident that happened long ago. Once I happened to see an Apsara of incomparable beauty named Punjikastali, who was on her way to offer her respects to the universal grandsire Lord Brahma. The sight of the Apsara inflamed me with desire, and I forcibly seized and raped her. After gratifying myself, I released her, and she fled naked to the shelter of Lord Brahma. The grandsire became enraged when he learned what I had done, and cursed me, saying, O wicked king of the Rakshasas, your head will split into 100 pieces if you ever try to rape another woman again. My dear Mahaparshva, it is in fear of this curse that I do not drag Sita to my bed by force. However, I'm not afraid of Ram, for I know I'm the most powerful creative being in the universe. Ram is obviously ignorant of my prowess. Since he desires to attack me, I shall make short work of him. Vibhishan said, my dear Ravan, can't you see that Sita is just like a poisonous snake that you have willingly placed around your neck? Use your good intelligence and return Sita to Ram before she becomes the cause of Lanka's destruction and the annihilation of all the Rakshasas. I can assure you that there is no Rakshasa warrior who will be able to stand before Ram on the battlefield and live to tell about it. Prahasta then angrily asked, why should we be afraid of a mere human being like Ram when we have nothing to fear even from the greatest demigods and demons? As Ravan's well-wisher, Vibhishan replied, Ram possesses unlimited and inconceivable potency on a level with Lord Vishnu himself. Therefore, Prahasta, you will do your king a great service if you dissuade him from fighting with Ram. Instead, you are now performing the greatest disservice by encouraging Ravan to fight. Turning to Ravan, Vibhishan said, I'm only thinking of your welfare when I say that you should return Sita to Ram. The minister who measures the relative strength of the king and his enemy and then gives advice accordingly is the true well-wisher. Unable to tolerate his uncle's words any longer, Indrajit hotly interrupted. Vibhishan, you are simply a coward and a eunuch. Your advice has no place in this assembly, for it is devoid of courage and heroism. Previously, I dragged Indra and his carrier Airavat to the ground, causing all the demigods to flee in fear. It'll be easy for me to kill two ordinary humans like Ram and Lakshman. Vibhishan harshly replied, you are but a mere boy. Because your intelligence is not yet developed, you cannot decide what is to be done and what is to be avoided. You are actually Ravan's enemy and not his son, because you're dull-headed, indiscriminate, uncultured, and wicked. Sita should be given back to Ram along with generous gifts so that the Rakshasas may continue to live peacefully. Ravan also got tired of hearing Vibhishan's contrary advice. To chastise his youngest half-brother, he said, it is better to live with an enemy or a poisonous snake than one who claims to be a friend but is actually a traitor, especially if that person is one's own brother. It appears that one's own relatives rejoice the most at their family members' misfortune. Once, when some elephants saw hunters approaching with snares in their hands, they recited the following two verses. Fire and weapons we do not fear. The dangers are the so-called near and dear. They are the ones who take special pains to make sure that we are all put in chains. From cows we derive milk. In Brahmins we find austerity. In women we see fickleness. And from relatives we are put into danger. Vibhishan, you're envious of me. That is why you cannot tolerate the honor I receive. If anyone else had spoken as you did, I would have killed him at once. You, O wretched half-brother, are a disgrace to our noble family. Enraged by Ravan's rebuke, Vibhishan rose up with club in hand, along with 4 of his followers, and declared, O king, although you are my superior, I can no longer tolerate your words, for you have chosen to follow the path of irreligion. Flatterers who only utter palatable words are easy to find. However, persons who actually speak for one's benefit, even though the truth may be unpalatable, are very rare. O Ravan, I have only given you advice with the hope of saving you from meeting death at the hands of Ram. You have rejected my advice, however, and are free to do so. Thus I wish you well, O brother, but I shall no longer remain here with you. Vibhishan and his followers departed, and within an hour they reached Ram's camp. When the monkeys saw Vibhishan hovering overhead like a peak of Mount Meru, illuminated with lightning, Sugriva told Hanuman, take care, this Rakshasa must have come here to kill us. All the monkeys began picking up rocks and uprooting trees, evading Sugriva's instructions. Vibhishan announced, O king of the monkeys, I am the youngest half-brother of Ravan. As former minister to Ravan, I advised him repeatedly to return Sita to Ram. After being rebuked by Ravan with harsh words, I have left my home, wife and children, to take shelter at the lotus feet of Ram. Please go and tell him of my intentions. Sugriva went to Ram and said, one of the enemy Rakshasas has arrived. Although he says he has deserted Ravan, he cannot be trusted. Indeed, one can never place any trust in a Rakshasa. He must be a spy. If you believe in him, then when we least expect it, he may do us great injury. I suggest that he be killed immediately. Ram, however, went to the other monkeys headed by Hanuman and asked their opinions. The monkeys replied, Dear Lord Ram, you are the knower of everything. Therefore, we can understand that you are inquiring from us just to honor us. Angada then suggested, if the presence of this Rakshasa can give us an advantage, he should be accepted with great caution. However, if he poses too much of a threat, he should be turned away. Sarabha advised we should assign someone to constantly watch over him. If after being thoroughly tested, he is found to be our ally, he should be welcome. Jambavan warned this Rakshasa should be regarded with great caution and suspicion. Likewise, Mainda advised he should be thoroughly interrogated before any decision is made. The ever-wise Hanuman, gifted in the arts of speech, then said, we do not have time to test Vibhishan. In my opinion, he has come here in all sincerity, hoping to take shelter of Lord Ram. He has understood that Ravan is wicked, and that Ram is the supreme emblem of purity and righteousness. His peaceful demeanor and considerate speech indicate the honesty of his purpose, for a deceitful person cannot remain so composed. It is not possible for anyone to fully conceal his inner intentions. The facial expression always gives some clue into one's thoughts. I think Vibhishan should be accepted as our ally without reservation. Although Ram was pleased by Hanuman's statement, Sugriva said, since Vibhishan has deserted his half-brother at a time of adversity, it should be understood there is no one he would not betray. Ram then replied, I believe that Vibhishan has genuinely rejected Ravan. Such dissension often occurs in royal families. Let us welcome him as our ally. Still unconvinced, Sugriva meekly protested. He may have been sent by Ravan. Therefore, to be safe, we should immediately capture and kill him. If we accept him, he may turn on us at any moment. Ram smiled and said, do you truly think this Rakshasa could hurt me? With the mere tip of my finger, I could kill all the Rakshasas and demons. Please listen as I tell you the following story. Once there was a hunter who caught a pigeon in his snare. Afterward, he took rest underneath a nearby tree. The wife of the captured pigeon was residing in that tree, and upon seeing that the hunter had come to her house, she offered him ample hospitality. Indeed, since she had nothing else to feed the hunter, the bird offered him her own flesh to fulfill her obligation to receive a guest. Ram continued, O Sugriva, since a mere bird acted in this way, what can be said of a man like myself? There are many places in the scriptures where it is stated that when an enemy arrives with folded hands, he must be protected by all means. The great sage Kandu has commented that it is only out of fear or folly that one would act otherwise, thus incurring sin. Moreover, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is my eternal principle that if any living being takes shelter of me, even one saying, I am yours, then I award that person freedom from all fear. Even if Ravan were to come here to surrender unto me, I would give him all protection. Sugriva's heart became filled with love upon hearing Ram's sublime statement. With tears in his eyes, he admitted, O Ram, your words and deeds are always just, befitting your supreme position. I too feel that Vibhishan is sincere. Therefore, let friendship be made without delay. After being assured of safety, Vibhishan descended to the earth and fell down flat at the lotus feet of Lord Ram. In a mood of full surrender, he explained, I am the youngest half-brother of Ravan, and my name is Vibhishan. Although I instructed the Rakshasa king for his benefit, he rebuked me harshly. Therefore, I have abandoned my home, family, and possessions, and left Lanka to engage in your unalloyed devotional service. I now place my life in your hands and beg you to bless me with your causeless mercy. While lovingly gazing upon Vibhishan, as if drinking him in with his eyes, Ram requested him to describe the strength and weaknesses of the enemy. In reply, Vibhishan said, because of receiving benedictions from Lord Brahma, Ravan has become immune to death at the hands of demigods, Gandharvas, Daityas, Danavas, and Nagas. Indeed, he cannot be killed by any creature except human beings, whom he considers to be too insignificant. Ravan's younger brother, Kumbhakarna, is as huge as a great mountain and as powerful as Indra. The commander-in-chief of the Rakshasas is Prahasta, who once vanquished the Yaksha hero Manibhadra at Mount Kailash. Likewise, there is Ravan's son, Indrajit, who is equal to his father in all respects. He wears impenetrable armor, and after propitiating the god of fire, he is able to make himself invisible on the battlefield. There are millions of other Rakshasas, headed by Mahodara, Mahaparshva, and Akampana. All of them are very fierce and can change their forms at will. Ram then said, O Vibhishan, I am well aware of Raman's prowess. I give you my word that after killing him and all the other Rakshasa warriors, I shall install you upon the royal throne at Lanka. In turn, Vibhishan assured Ram that he would help him to conquer Lanka. Ram was very satisfied with his devotee. After warmly embracing Vibhishan, he ordered Lakshman to bring some water from the sea so he could immediately perform the installation ceremony. Upon seeing the extraordinary mercy of Lord Ram upon the Rakshasa, the monkeys became ecstatic and shouted with joy. Hanuman and Sugriva said, we feel confident about combating the Rakshasas, but we are perplexed about how to cross over the unfathomable ocean. Perhaps you can advise us in this matter. Vibhishan replied, I suggested Ram call upon Varuna, the presiding deity of the ocean. Previously, his forefather, Sagar, excavated Varuna's waters and extended his domain. Because of his past service, the ocean will certainly help Ram accomplish his mission. Sugriva then relayed Vibhishan's idea to Ram and Lakshman. Ram thought it to be a good idea, but nonetheless replied to Sugriva, I shall do whatever you and Lakshman decide. Sugriva and Lakshman readily agreed with Vibhishan. Thereafter, Ram sat down upon a kusha mat, his face turned toward the sea. Meanwhile, a spy named Shardula sighted the monkeys and reported to Ravan how the army had set up camp, covering an area of 80 miles in all directions. The perturbed Rakshasa king then ordered his envoy, Shuka, to approach Sugriva and deliver the following message. I have never done any harm to you, therefore why are you preparing to attack Lanka? Since the kidnapping of Sita has nothing to do with you, it would be better for you to return to Kishkindya and go on living peacefully there. Everything okay? Fine?
Yes.
Taking the form of a bird, Shuka flew to Sugriva and began to deliver Ravan's message while in the sky. However, as Shuka was speaking, some monkeys jumped into the air and captured him. Thus, while dragging him to the ground, the monkeys cut off Shuka's wings and savagely beat him. In great distress, Shuka cried out, O Ram, those who adhere to righteousness never indulge in killing an envoy. Ram intervened, and after being let go, Shuka once more rose into the sky, asking Sugriva if he had any message for Ravan. Sugriva replied, you may tell your master this. O Ravan, you are just like the stool of your dynasty, for you wish to enjoy the wife of another. Therefore, as a consequence, when my army swarms over the sea to Lanka, Ram will kill you and all your relations. Angada then said, this bird does not appear to be an envoy, but a spy who will convey information about our strength to the enemy. Therefore, he should be arrested at once. Taking this as an order, the monkeys again sprang into the air. Capturing Shuka again, they bound him with ropes. Shuka again appealed to Ram, and he mercifully assured him he'd be set free once they reached Lanka. Thereafter, Ram solicited Varuna, the presiding deity of the ocean, with folded hands. Ram was determined to reach Lanka by any means and was prepared to kill the ocean god if he refused to cooperate. When 3 days and nights passed without any response from the ocean deity, Ram became greatly irritated. Addressing Lakshman, he said, I can now practically see that in this mature world, the good qualities of patience, forgiveness, and politeness are useless when dealing with persons bereft of all virtue. In this mature world, such rascals give more respect to persons who are impudent, aggressive, harsh in speech, and who run about advertising themselves. Because of my mildness and forbearance, the ocean considers me to be impotent. Thus he will not deign to come before me. Lakshman, give me my bow, and I will teach this ocean a lesson. Watch as I dry up the water. Then the monkeys can march to Lanka on foot without difficulty. His anger blazing like fire, Ram strung his mighty bow and twanged it powerfully, causing the entire earth to tremble. Ram shot his arrows deep into the water, agitating the entire ocean, causing high tossing waves and terrifying the entities living within, including the Nagas and Rakshasas. Then, as he invoked his supremely powerful Brahmastra, Lakshman put his head on Ram's bow and said, My dear brother, please restrain your anger and do not release any more arrows. Surely there must be a more noble means for drying up the ocean and facilitating the monkeys to cross over to Lanka. Even the great Brahma Rishis, from their vantage point in the sky, were terrified to see Ram's uncommon exhibition of anger. Ignoring Lakshman's plea, Ram picked up the Brahmastra arrow and threatened the ocean. I will now dry up all your water, so that all that remains is a desert of sand. O God of the sea, since you are too proud to render service unto me, I shall utilize my own prowess so that the monkeys can cross to Lanka on foot. As Ram drew his bow taut, heaven and earth began to tremble, and darkness enveloped the sky. Celestial winds raged furiously, uprooting gigantic trees and tearing off mountain peaks. Lightning streaked across the sky, as did hundreds of meteors, while thunder reverberated in all directions. The ocean overflowed its limit by 80 miles, filling all beings with terror. Still, Ram remained unmoved, fixed in his determination. Suddenly, the ocean god rose up from the water and appeared before Ram, surrounded by many serpents with flaming hoods. As giant alligators, tortoises, and fish were thrown up by the billowing waves, the ocean presiding deity stepped onto the shore, followed by the presiding goddesses of such rivers as the Ganga and Sindhu. Decorated with a garland of red flowers and golden ornaments, dressed in bright red cloth, and encircled by clouds and wind, the ocean personified approached Ram with folded hands, saying, O all-pervading Supreme Person, we are dull-minded and did not understand who you are. But now we understand that you are the Supreme Person, the Master of the entire universe, the unchanging and original personality of Godhead. The demigods are infatuated with the mode of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the Lord of ghosts with the mode of ignorance. But you are the master of all these qualities. O gentle descendant of the Raghu dynasty, the earth, water, fire, air, and ether are all eternally imbued with their natural characteristics. As a great reservoir of water, I am by nature unfathomable and impossible to cross. I cannot be otherwise. O Ram, it is for you alone that I will make a special concession, enabling you to cross my waters. My Lord, you may use my water as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravan, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. He is the son of Ishrava, but is condemned like urine. Please go kill him and thus regain your wife Sita. O great hero, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderfully uncommon deed of your lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. If you construct a bridge, I shall make it float by bearing its weight with my energy. Thus your vast army of monkeys can attack Lanka, and you can recover your dear wife Sita. Standing with the Brahmastra arrow drawn back to its full length, Ram said, "Please tell me where I can release this arrow. For having fixed it upon my bowstring, I am unwilling to withdraw it." The ocean personified replied, "To the north is a holy place known as Drumakulya, where a fierce tribe of sinful thieves called Abhiras now live. Because they drink ocean water there, I have become repulsed by their sinful touch. O my Lord, I would be very pleased if you would let your powerful arrow fall there." Ram released his arrow as requested, making it fall at Drumakulya. The arrow pierced through the earth and brought all the water from Rasatala gushing up through the crevice, causing the entire subterranean region to dry up. The place where the arrow fell then became known as Marukantara, and Rama gave it the following benediction: "This land will become verdant with fruits, honey, and all varieties of herbs. It will be excellent for raising cows, and those who reside here will have few diseases." The ocean personified then said, "My dear Ram, here is Nala, the son of the celestial engineer and architect Vishwakarma. This powerful monkey is your great devotee. Indeed, he is as talented as his father. He can oversee the construction of your bridge as I allow it to float upon my water." The presiding deity of the ocean disappeared. Nala then came before Ram, and after offering his obeisances, he said, "Forbearance, conciliation, and gifts are wasted upon persons who are ungrateful. I know that Varuna has granted you passage only out of fear of punishment, and not from a sense of gratitude. My lord, long ago my father Vishwakarma awarded my mother the benediction that she would have a son equal to him in all respects. For this reason, I possess all of Vishwakarma's architectural and engineering skills. I am quite capable of building the bridge. Although I have these talents, no one knew of them before, because no one had asked me about them. I do not like to speak of my own abilities. May I suggest that the monkeys start gathering the building materials so that work can begin at once?" Under Ram's direction, millions of monkeys began the construction, and some entered the forest in search of materials. After tearing up great rocks, trees, and entire mountains, they brought them to the shore through the use of mechanical contrivances. Then, as the huge stones and trees were thrown into the ocean, the water splashed high into the sky, creating a magnificent scene as the rocks miraculously floated. The monkeys tied them together with heavy ropes and vines, making sure they were properly placed. While the construction was going on, Vibhishan and his ministers kept guard at the shore. Hanuman also carried large boulders and threw them into the sea. While doing so, he happened to see a squirrel kicking dust into the ocean in an attempt to assist the Supreme Lord. "Move out of the way or you'll get hurt," Hanuman told the squirrel. "We're carrying huge boulders. What will your little dust accomplish?" As soon as Hanuman said this, Lord Ram appeared and rebuked him, saying, "Why are you saying this? Both the squirrel and you are serving me. Although you're lifting mountain peaks and he is moving small grains of sand, you're both doing your best. I therefore consider your service and his service of equal value." In this way, the bridge was constructed. It was 100 yojanas long and 10 yojanas wide. The surface was made smooth by placing the trunks of trees against one another. It was then covered over with tops of branches full of blossoming flowers. Do we read the footnote? Srila Prabhupada comments, this is a footnote. One feature of the Supreme Personality Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is omnipotence. The Lord can act without regard to material impediments or inconveniences, but to prove that he's a Supreme Personality of Godhead and was not merely advertised as Godhead or elected by popular vote, he constructed a wonderful bridge over the ocean. Nowadays, it has become fashionable to create some artificial God who performs no uncommon activities. A little magic will bewilder a foolish person into selecting an artificial God because he does not understand how powerful God is. Lord Ramachandra, however, constructed a bridge over the water with stone by making the stone float. This is proof of God's uncommonly wonderful power. Why should someone be accepted as God without displaying extraordinary potency by doing something never to be done by any common man? We accept Lord Ramachandra as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he constructed this bridge. And we accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he lifted Govardhan Hill when he was only 7 years old. We should not accept any rascal as God or an incarnation of God, for God displays special features in his various activities. The activities of the Lord are not common. They are all transcendently wonderful and not able to be performed by any other living being. The symptoms of the Lord's activities are all mentioned in the scriptures, and after one understands them, one can accept the Lord as he is. Continuing. The demigods and great rishis assembled in the sky to behold a wonderful bridge spanning the deep, shimmering ocean. Sugriva then requested Ram and Lakshman to mount the backs of Hanuman and Angada. Soon thereafter, the entire army, consisting of billions of monkeys, began to march. Upon reaching Suvela Mountain at the far shore of Lanka Island, the monkeys became thrilled. As Sugriva set up camp, all the great demigods and rishis came and individually bathed the king and the monkeys with water from the sacred rivers, blessing the king to obtain victory. Ram then embraced Lakshman, saying, "Make certain that the army stays on constant alert, for I perceive evil omens, foreboding the destruction of many great heroes among the monkeys, bears, and rakshasas. Indeed, just see how the fierce winds stir up clouds of dust. There are tremors in the earth, and dark clouds are raining blood. The evening twilight is heavily tinged with red, and the animals cry out pitifully. O Lakshman, I think we should immediately begin our march on the city of Lanka." Thus, at Ram's desire, the army of monkeys departed. As they drew near Lanka, the Rakshasas could hear their loud roaring. While looking at the golden city, magnificently perched atop Trikuta mountain, Ram thought only of Sita imprisoned within. Ram then ordered the commanders to arrange the army in a human-shaped formation, with himself and Lakshman at the head. As they approached Lanka, the monkeys took up great trees and mountain peaks, while Ram sent orders to Ravan to release Sita or to prepare for death. The monkey chiefs released the Rakshasa messenger in the form of a bird, who immediately went to Ravan. When the Rakshasa king saw how Shuka's wings had been cut off, he laughingly inquired, "Who has done this?" Shuka replied, "I delivered your message to Sugriva, but the monkeys captured me and severely beat me. Then they cut off my wings. It was only due to the mercy of the virtuous Ram that I was released. O king, the army of monkeys has already arrived here to rescue Sita. You must return her to Ram, or immediately attack the hordes of monkeys before they swarm over the boundary walls." Ravan angrily replied, "I shall never give up Sita. I will kill Ram and all these monkey soldiers. However, I'm quite amazed that these monkeys could build a bridge across the ocean. I want you and Sarana to disguise yourself as monkeys and secretly enter the enemy's ranks to estimate their strength." Shuka and Sarana obediently went to the monkeys' camp. But because of the vastness of the monkeys' army now spread throughout the forest, mountains, and along the shore, The two spies could not even begin to estimate the number of soldiers. As they moved along, however, Vibhishan identified them as disguised Rakshasas and captured them, taking them to Ram. Afraid for their lives, Shuka and Sarana stood before Ram with folded hands, pleading, "We have not come here of our own accord. We were sent by Ravan to ascertain the strength of your army." At this, Ram simply laughed and replied, "If you have accomplished your mission, then you can return to Ravan at once. However, if you have not yet completed your observations, then you can continue your tour without fear, guided by Vibhishan. In return for our hospitality, I only request you to deliver this message to Ravan. Accompanied by my army of monkeys, I will destroy Lanka and kill all the Rakshasas." Out of gratitude, Shuka and Charna offered obeisances unto Ram, saying, "May you be victorious." They then returned to Ravan and explained, "We were captured by Vibhishan, but then mercifully released by magnanimous Ram. Due to the army's vastness, it was impossible for us to estimate the extent of it. However, we can assure you that Ram, Lakshman, Sugriva, and Vibhishan can uproot Lanka and carry it away if they so choose, even without the help of the other monkeys. Indeed, we are convinced that Ram could destroy Lanka and all the Rakshasas single-handed. We advise you to return Sita to Ram and establish an alliance with him." Ravan replied, "I will never give back Sita, even if all the demigods and demons combine together to attack me. You only speak such rubbish because you're afraid of being tormented by a few monkeys. What have I got to fear?" Ravan climbed to the roof of his palace, accompanied by his two spies, hoping to gain a good view of the enemy. Ravan then asked Sarana to point out the chief monkeys. Sarana showed his master all the great heroes, including Hanuman, Sugriva, Angada, Nala, Mainda, Divida, Shveta, Panasa, Vinata, Gavaya, and finally Dhumra, the commander-in-chief of the bears, and his younger brother, Jambavan. Sarana also described their physical characteristics and praised their incomparable prowess. The monkey army was so expansive that in order to describe the extent of it, Sharana first had to explain the Vedic system of counting. He explained that 100,000 is 1 lakh. 100 lakhs equals 1 crore. 1 lakh of crores is called a shanku, and 1 lakh of shankus is called a maha shanku. 1 lakh of maha shankus is called a brinda, and 1 lakh of brindas is called a padma. With 1 lakh of padmas equaling a mahapadma, 1 lakh of mahapadmas is called a karva, and 1 lakh of karvas is a mahakarva. 1 lakh of mahakarvas is called a samudra, and 1 lakh of samudras is an ogha. 1 lakh of ogas is called a mahoga. Sarana then explained that Ram's army of monkeys consisted of at least 100 crores of mahogas of soldiers. Anyone who can tell me how many zeros that is will get a special prize. Mahaprasad from Radha Mohan. Anyone kept count? You can let us know how many zeros that is, or is probably asankhya, unlimited. Seeing Ram, Lakshman, and the other monkey heroes, Ravan became enraged. As Shuka and Sarana hung their heads, Ravan chastised them severely. Trying to restrain his anger, he said, "You're supposed to be my ministers, yet you're ignorant of politics and are praising the enemy. Your speech is most unpalatable, and I must be fortunate indeed to have retained my sovereignty for so long, guided by such ignorant fools as you. How can you speak so foolishly? Have you no fear of death? It is only the memory of your past service that keeps me from killing you this instant." Shuka and Sarana became ashamed to hear Ravana chastise them in this way. Hoping to pacify their master, they shouted, "O king, may victory be yours," and then departed. Ravana ordered Mahodara to bring more spies forward. Soon afterward, Shardula and others arrived, pronouncing benedictions for Ravana's victory. Ravana ordered the spies to ascertain the enemy's plan. Then the spies circumambulated Ravana and slipped out to where Ram and the monkey soldiers were camped. Although the spies were disguised as monkeys, Vibhishan easily detected them as Rakshasas and arrested them. Then the monkeys surrounded them and beat them severely. However, when their plight came to Ram's attention, he mercifully ordered that they too be set free. Returning to Lanka in a stupefied condition, Shardula and his men came before Ravana and reported, "The enemy army of monkeys is now encamped near the Suvela mountain. They are incapable of being spied upon. Just moments after our arrival, we were captured by Vibhishan and then beaten by the monkeys. It is only by the grace of Ram that we were released and able to return with our lives. O king, it appears that Ram is capable of destroying not only Lanka, but the entire cosmic manifestation as well. You must either return Sita or immediately be prepared to fight with Ram's army before they reach Lanka's boundary walls." Ravana considered Shardula's words for half a moment and then declared, "I shall never return Sita under any circumstance." Ravana asked for advice from his assembled ministers. Finally, he retired to his private rooms and called for Vidyujiha, a Rakshasa expert in conjuring tricks. Ravana told him, "I want you to create an illusory head of Ram and a perfect imitation of his bow and arrows. I am going now to the Ashoka Grove to see Sita. You should follow me and remain hidden. When I call for you, bring your magical creations." Ravana went to the Ashoka Grove, eager to see Sita. He came before the anguished daughter of King Janaka and announced, "Ram has been slain by my commander-in-chief. You should give up your stubbornness and become my beloved queen. I will tell you just how it happened. After Ram crossed the ocean, night set in, and being exhausted, Ram, Lakshman, and the monkey warriors fell asleep on Lanka's shore. In the darkness, the great Rakshasa heroes went there and began slaughtering them all. Prahasta cut off Ram's head as he soundly slept, and Lakshman, Hanuman, and the other monkey chiefs were killed as the others fled in fear. O noble lady, I have brought Ram's severed head here just to convince you that I am telling the truth." Ravana then ordered the Rakshasi guards to call for Vidyujiva. The magician thus appeared, bearing an illusory head of Ram, along with his bow and arrows. Ravana then told Sita, "Look, this is the bloodied head of your husband." Then turning to Vidyujiva, Ravana said, "Show Sita Ram's severed head. Let her see the remains of her mortal husband." Vidyujiva placed the illusory head at Sita's feet and hastily departed. Ravana then took Ram's illusory bow and arrows and threw them towards Sita, saying, "Submit to me now, for you have no other hope." The illusory severed head had features exactly resembling Ram's. When Sita saw it, she cried out mournfully, "O Kaikeyi, this is the result of your evil plans. Now your cherished goal is fulfilled. You must be very happy." Crying convulsively, Sita fell to the ground like a plantain tree uprooted by a strong wind. Soon she recovered and sat down beside the illusory head, lamenting, "O Ram, without you I have become a widow. My life has come to an end. What greater calamity could befall a woman than the death of her husband before her own demise? Alas, I am most despicable, for it is I who have caused the death of my husband. It is for my sake alone that he crossed the ocean, only to die without even a fight. Little did Ram know that when he married me, he wedded his own death as well. Surely in a previous life, I obstructed the marriage of another girl. Thus I now suffer in this life. O Ram, Have you departed for the next world without me? Sita then said to Ravan, please take me to where the body of Ram is lying. Then, as I place my body upon his, you may kill me so that I may attain the same destination as my husband. Just at that moment, a passenger arrived informing Ravan that Prahasta urgently required his presence in a meeting of his ministers. Ravan departed, and as soon as he was gone, the illusory head and bow vanished from Sita's sight. Entering the assembly, Ravan immediately ordered the Rakshasas to mobilize for battle. Without further discussions, they began preparing for war. Meanwhile, Vibhishan's wife, Sarama, came to console Sita. Sarama had already befriended her at Ravan's urging, for he did not wish Sita to die prematurely from grief. Sarama said, I was hiding beneath a nearby bush and could hear everything Ravan said. I can assure you that Ram is not dead. The head you saw was created by a Rakshasa conjurer's tricks. In truth, Ram has arrived at Lanka with Lakshman and the army of monkeys. They are now preparing to attack Ravan. That is why Ravan just left here in such an agitated state. He knows that he's unable to defeat Ram and the monkey heroes under his protection. Even from here, I can hear the Rakshasas making preparations. Soon there will be a great war between the two armies. Do not worry, Sita, for Ram will defeat Ravan without a doubt. If you would like to give Ram a message, I can deliver it for you. Sita was greatly relieved to hear Sarama's assurance. She requested her, or Sarama, please try to learn what Ravan's plans are. Is he going to fight with Ram, or will he return me to Ram? Sarama went out, and while remaining hidden, overheard Ravan's conversation with his ministers. She returned to Sita and reported, as I listened, many of Ravan's elder ministers advised Ravan to return you to Ram, describing the unlimited prowess of Ram and Lakshman. Even Ram's mother urged him to make peace with Ram. Ravan, however, remained adamant. Therefore, I can understand that it will only give you up at the time of death. Even as the meeting was going on, Ravan could hear the sounds of conchs, drums, and other noises from the monkeys. Then Malyavan, Ravan's maternal grandfather, said, a wise king never fights with an enemy who has superior strength. Therefore, I advise you to return Sita to Ram and establish peaceful relations with him. Otherwise, O Ravan, you may rest assured that virtue, having taken the form of the enemy, will conquer over your evil self. Because you have persecuted the great rishis, the power of their austerity is now aimed at you for your destruction. Furthermore, the benedictions you received from Lord Brahma did not give you immunity from death at the hands of human beings or monkeys. You should carefully consider the dangerous position you are now in. My dear grandson, you should heed my advice, for many inauspicious signs have already become visible, indicating the destruction of Lanka. Clouds are pouring down showers of hot blood. Our horses and elephants have tears in their eyes, and carnivorous animals freely enter the gardens of Lanka, crying out ominously. In their dreams, the citizens see black women with yellow teeth plundering their houses and standing before them, laughing at them. Dogs are eating the sacrificial offerings, and different species of animals are seen mating with each other. Time personified, appearing in a huge black form with a shaved head, is seen peeling into the houses of Lanka every morning and evening. O Ravan, I consider Ram to be Lord Vishnu himself, appearing in the form of a human being. You must immediately go and surrender to him and rid yourself from this impeding calamity. Sarama continued. Ravan could not accept this good advice. Instead, he angrily replied, you are a rascal, taking the side of the enemy. You seem very eager to glorify the prowess of Ram. But what do you think of me? You must be praising the enemy because you are envious of me, or because you have been won over to the other side. Perhaps you're afraid of him. I can assure you that you will soon witness the death of Ram by my own hands. Malyavan remained silent for a time. Then, after offering his respects to the king, he retired to his quarter. Ravan then made arrangements for Lanka's defense. He posted Prahasta at the eastern gate, Mahaparshva and Mahodara at the southern gate, Indrajit at the western gate, Shuka and Sarana and himself at the northern gate, and Virupaksha in the city center. Then the king dismissed his ministers and retired to the interior of his palace. As Ram and the monkey army approached Lanka, they discussed how they could best besiege the city. Vibhishan said, "Along with my ministers, Anala, Panasa, Sampati, and Pramati, I took the form of a bird and surveyed the military arrangement of Ravan. We now know how their defenses are laid out. My dear Ram, I'm confident that just as Ravan defeated Kuvera by invading Lanka with 60 lakhs of Rakshasas, you too will gain victory with the help of these hordes of monkeys." Ram then ordered, "Nila will lead the attack on Prahasta at the eastern gate. Angada and his soldiers will fight against Mahaparshva and Mahodara at the southern gate. Hanuman will lead the attack against Indrajit at the western gate, and Lakshman and I will contend with Ravan at the northern gate. Sugriva, Jambavan, and Vibhishan will stay in the center of our army to provide assistance wherever needed. I want only 7 of us to fight in the form of human beings. Myself, Lakshman, and Vibhishan, and his 4 ministers. All others should retain their monkey forms, for that will allow us to remain distinguished from the enemy warriors." The sun was already setting when Ram, Lakshman, and the monkey leaders climbed to the peak of Suvela mountain to spend the night. From the mountaintop, they had a good view of Lanka, even though darkness had already set in. The city's innumerable twinkling lights made it appear as if it were suspended from the sky. The leaders of Ram's army could also see that the Rakshasa warriors were prepared for the upcoming fight. The next morning, everyone was amazed to see the heavenly city, complete with its array of flowering gardens, filled with celestial trees and singing birds. Lanka was beautifully situated on a leveled peak of the Trikuta mountain, measuring 100 yojanas by 100 yojanas. The walled city had an area of 20 by 20 yojanas, and in the center stood the magnificent palace of Ravan, supported by 1,000 pillars. While gazing at the city and feeling great appreciation for its magnificence, Ram sighted Ravan perched atop the northern gate, with a canopy held over his head, being fanned by his servants. Sugriva ordered numerous monkeys ahead, jumping from mountain to mountain top to occupy the outer gardens of Lanka. Suddenly, he too sighted Ravan. The Sugriva impetuously leapt from the peak of Mount Suvela to where the Rakshasa king was sitting atop the northern gate. Gazing at Ravan with great disdain, Sugriva announced, "I am a servant of Lord Ram, and I shall kill you this very day." Sugriva pounced on Ravan, knocking his crown off in the prowess. The surprised Rakshasa king then grabbed Sugriva, and while uttering similar threats, threw Sugriva to the ground. Sugriva, however, bounced up immediately like a rubber ball, and in turn braced Ravan, throwing him to the ground with great force. A fierce wrestling match ensued as the 2 heroes scratched each other with their nails, covering them both with blood and perspiration. After striking each other with their fists and arms and wrestling for a long time, Sugriva and Ravan both fell down from the gate onto the ground in the area between the boundary wall and the moat. Then, jumping to their feet, the 2 kings continued fighting, exhibiting all their knowledge in the art of wrestling. At last, when Ravan realized he could not defeat Sugriva with mere physical strength, he called upon his mystic powers. Understanding this, Sugriva decided to abandon the fight. He bounded into the air and immediately returned to where Ram was staying. Sugriva was now feeling blissful at having performed such a heroic feat, and his followers responded by jumping excitedly. Embracing Sugriva in love, Ram mildly chastised him, saying, "You have acted foolishly, for you dared to do something without my sanction. Besides this, a king should never take such risks, because the death of the ruler is a great calamity for the entire nation. O Sugriva, If Ravan had killed you then, I certainly would have slain him in retaliation. Then after installing Vibhishan upon the throne at Lanka and Bharat on the throne at Ayodhya, I would have given up my own life for having allowed you to be killed in my presence. Sugriva replied, after seeing that rascal Ravan, the abductor of Sita, I could not bear to simply ignore him. Ram said, regardless, you courageously displayed your heroism, and all the monkey soldiers have been inspired by your fearless example. Turning to Lakshman, Ram said, by observing various omens, I can understand that there will soon be great destruction, a slaughter of the leading monkeys, bears, and rakshasas. Let us attack Lanka immediately. Ram climbed down from Suvela mountain to review his army. He then began his march to Lanka, bow in hand, while the monkeys following him uprooted trees and mountain peaks. Soon afterward, they arrived at the city walls, and Ram encamped his army outside the northern gate. Similarly, Nila took up his position outside the eastern gate, Angada at the southern gate, and Hanuman outside the western gate. Sugriva positioned his army in between the northern and western gates. Thus the monkeys completely surrounded the walled city, awaiting the encounter. The Rakshasa warriors were astonished to see a seemingly unlimited number of monkeys surrounding their city. With weapons in hand, the leaders fearfully rushed to Ravan's palace to inform Ravan how the monkeys were sieging the city. Ravan quickly went to a balcony to personally survey the situation. Seeing how the entire earth around Lanka had become brown, covered by multitudes of monkeys, the Rakshasa king was struck with wonder. For a long time, Ravan stood motionless, staring at Ram, wondering what he should do next. Ram then ordered Angada to deliver a message to Ravan. Leaping into the air, Angada quickly came before Ravan, who was sitting atop the northern gate, surrounded by his ministers. Staying a slight distance from Ravan, Angada announced, my name is Angada, nephew of King Sugriva, and heir apparent to the royal throne of Kishkindya. I have come here as Ram's envoy with the message, O king of the Rakshasas, now that all of your pious credits have been exhausted, I am going to kill you in retaliation for your atrocities against the rishis. If you do not surrender to me at once, then I shall rid the entire world of Rakshasas. Either submit to me or come before me, so that I can purify you with the onslaught of my deadly arrows. If you're unwilling to return Sita and bow down before me, then I advise you to take a good look at Lanka, for it will be your last. Inflamed with rage, Ravan ordered his ministers to kill Angada. Angada allowed for Rakshasas to seize him, for he desired to show off his prowess. Then he suddenly jumped to the top of Ravan's palace, carrying aloft the 4 Rakshasas, clutching at his arms. The force of Angada's leap shook the Rakshasas loose, and they plummeted to the ground at Ravan's feet. Angada then violently kicked the roof of Ravan's palace, causing the top dome to crumble, while Ravan looked on helplessly. Having thus vexed the Rakshasa king, Angada let out a loud roar and returned to Ram. Witnessing Angada's prowess, Ravan foresaw his own destruction and began sighing repeatedly. Once again, Ram thought of Sita and thus commanded his army, make short work of the Rakshasas. The monkeys shouted in unison, all victory to Ram and Lakshman! All victory to Ram and Lakshman! Causing Lanka to resound with their vibration. The monkeys then began scaling the defensive walls and breaking them down with trees and boulders. Ravan then ordered his troops to advance quickly, and in this way the fierce conflict began, amidst a terrible roaring sound. The Rakshasas struck the monkeys with their clubs and other weapons, and the monkeys countered by using trees, stones, and their claws and teeth. The monkeys didn't have proper equipment with which to fight the soldiers of Ravan. For Ravan's soldiers were equipped with sophisticated weapons, whereas the monkeys could only throw stones, mountain peaks, and trees. It was only Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman who shot some arrows. But because the soldiers of Ravan were condemned by the curse of Mother Sita, the monkeys were able to kill them simply by throwing stones and trees. Stationed atop Lanka's defensive walls, the Rakshasas pierced numerous monkeys with their weapons, while other monkeys leapt up and dragged the Rakshasas down to the ground, causing the earth to become a mire of flesh and blood. As Hanuman fought with Jambumali, Angada with Indrajit, Nila with Nikumba, and Sugriva with Pragas, rivers of blood created by the massacre carried away the slain warriors. Indrajit struck Angada with his mace, but the monkey prince deftly grabbed it out of the Rakshasa's hands and smashed it against his chariot. Jambumali pierced Hanuman with a spear, but then the son of Vayu jumped into the Rakshasa's chariot and killed him with a violent slap. Nikumba pierced Nila with numerous arrows, but the monkey hero still managed to cut off the Rakshasa's head, using a wheel from his broken chariot. Ram, Sugriva, and Nala killed numerous other Rakshasas, and the heroic army of monkeys inflicted heavy losses upon the enemy. During the fierce battle, headless trunks of Rakshasas and monkeys alike were seen darting here and there, adding to the ghastliness of the battle scene. As night finally fell, the monkeys questioned those around them, asking, "Are you a monkey?" When someone was found to be an enemy, the monkeys attacked him with deadly enthusiasm. Throughout the fighting, both sides suffered heavy losses. Although the Rakshasas were more visible because of their golden armor, it was their nature to become enlivened at night. Thus, the hordes of Rakshasas suddenly attacked Ram in the darkness with great enthusiasm, their loud roaring creating a tumultuous sound, with the giant monkey Golangula supporting him on one side and Jambavan's brother Dhumra on the other. Ram pierced Mahaparshva, Mahodara, Shuka, Sarana, and two other Rakshasas with 6 golden arrows that brightly lit up the night. Then, as those 6 Rakshasas fled for their lives, Angada smashed Indrajit's chariot and killed his driver. Indrajit, who was also injured, abandoned his disabled chariot and vanished from view, while the demigods and rishis praised the monkey prince from their positions in the sky. Remaining invisible in the sky, the enraged Indrajit showered down arrows that took the form of serpents. Because of a benediction from Lord Brahma, the snake arrows immediately bound Ram and Lakshman very tightly. Unable to move because of Indrajit's serpent arrows, Ram and Lakshman dispatched 10 of the foremost monkeys, headed by Angada, Nila, and Hanuman, to search out Indrajit. However, as the monkeys sprang into the air, exploring in all directions, the invisible Indrajit pierced them with innumerable arrows. At the same time, he showered Ram and Lakshman with so many arrows that blood flowed profusely from wounds that completely covered their bodies. Indrajit announced, "O Ram and Lakshman, even Indra cannot see me, what to speak of others. Now it will be my great pleasure to dispatch you both to the abode of Yamaraj with my unceasing torrents of sharp arrows." As Indrajit continued to assault Ram and Lakshman, they became covered with wounds. There was not a single space large enough to place a finger where the arrows had not pierced them. Finally, Ram's bow fell from his hands and he fell to the ground, covered in his own blood. Lakshman too swooned away, giving up all hope of survival. Seeing this terrible sight, the monkeys became despondent with tears in their eyes. As the leaders of the monkeys came to surround Ram and Lakshman, Indrajit proclaimed to his followers, "The 2 mighty brothers have fallen victim to my magical snake arrows imbued with the power of Lord Brahma. Not even Indra and all the demigods could save Ram and Lakshman now." The enlivened Rakshasa then shouted, "Ram is dead! Indrajit has killed him single-handedly." Convinced that Ram and Lakshman were now dead, Indrajit departed for the palace of Ravan, intoxicated by his apparent victory. Sugriva and Vibhishan then came to the spot where Ram and Lakshman lay motionless. They were bathed in their own blood and barely breathed. Sugriva was especially pained to see the two brothers completely enmeshed in the serpentine arrows that covered them. And Vibhishan took special care to comfort him. While washing the tears from Sugriva's eyes, he said, "O king, I know that Ram and Lakshman can be revived. Rest assured, for they will not die. Please guard Ram carefully while I rally the army and restore the monkeys to confidence." As the foremost monkeys guarded Ram and Lakshman, Indrajit went to Ravan and proudly reported the news of his apparent victory. When Ravan heard that Ram and Lakshman were slain, he jumped to his feet and lovingly embraced his son, saying, "My dear boy, how did you accomplish this most difficult feat? Tell me everything." Indrajit replied, "By remaining invisible in the sky, I first bound up Ram and Lakshman with my serpentine arrows. Then I riddled them with countless sharp arrows. They are now lying lifeless on the ground, and the monkey warriors are giving up the fight out of hopelessness." Considering Ram and Lakshman to be dead, Ravan gave up all fear and anxiety. After dismissing Indrajit, he called for the Rakshashis who guarded Sita. Confident that Sita would now submit to him, Ravan joyfully said, "Ram and Lakshman have been slain by my incomparable son Indrajit. I want you to immediately convey this news to Sita. Take her on the Pushpaka chariot so that she may see for herself how her husband is slain on the battlefield." After dismissing the Rakshashis, Ravan ordered the news of Indrajit's victory to be broadcast all over Lanka for the pleasure of the citizens. When the Rakshashis informed Sita of Ram's death, she immediately fell to the ground. She was sobbing uncontrollably, completely overcome by shock and grief. The Rakshashis helped her onto the Pushpaka chariot along with their leader, Trijata, and within a moment, they rose up high into the air. While monkeys flying over the battlefield, Sita could see many slain monkeys and Rakshashas. Then he suddenly beheld Ram and Lakshman lying on the ground, surrounded by grieving monkeys. As Sita heard the Rakshasas rejoicing, she gazed upon Ram's arrow-riddled body, his bow lying beside him, and was unable to contain her grief. Wailing loudly, Sita began lamenting. "Formerly, learned Brahmins, masters of astrology and palmistry, all assured me, 'O fortunate princess, you'll bear sons and never suffer for becoming a widow. In the future, you'll become the queen of an illustrious king who will perform many great sacrifices.' Now that Ram is dead, I can understand that they're all cheaters and liars. The Brahmins assured me of my good fortune, describing my auspicious bodily features. They told me, 'O princess, you have fine dark hair, and your eyebrows are curved and separated. Your closely set teeth are even, and your rosy fingers and toes have no space between them. Your thighs are rounded, shapely and hairless, and your ample breasts touch each other. Your navel is deep, your skin is soft, and your complexion is fair and brilliant. All your toes touch the ground as you walk, and the soles of your feet are marked with the auspicious signs of the lotus flower, indicating an exalted royal birth. Combined with your lotus petal eyes and gentle smiles, all these symptoms indicate that the highest good fortune awaits you.' Sita cried, 'Of what use are these auspicious marks now that my husband is dead? Without Ram, my good fortune had ended.' Trijata then approached Sita, saying, 'O princess, you may rest assured that Ram and Lakshman are not dead, for this celestial chariot will not carry a widow. Look below, for even though the monkeys are in a state of confusion, they continue to guard Ram and Lakshman. What would be the necessity of guarding them if they were dead? Even from here, I can see that luster remains in the faces of Ram and Lakshman. Therefore, Sita, do not give way to unnecessary grief. It is certain that your husband is still alive.' Sita was slightly encouraged by Trijata's words and was then escorted back to the Ashoka Grove. Regardless, while thinking of her husband's desperate condition, Sita soon gave way to grief and despair. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for
You're
such
welcome.
an amazing and engaging reading. Oh, wow. It was just, I didn't want it to stop.
Well, there's a lot of interesting and exciting pastimes coming up pretty soon here in this section of the Ramayana. So
Yes, yes. I was just thinking Yuddhakand is the one with a lot of,
yes, I'll wish you an exciting hearing and chanting.
yes, a lot of excitement there.
All the best. All goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Bol.
I just unmuted everybody so that they can also express their feelings.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hari
Prabhu.
Bol.
So
Hare
much.
Bol.
Hare Bol.
Nice reading,
Thank
Prabhu.
you, Prabhu.
Prabhu,
Yeah, it was wonderful reading, Prabhu.
Yeah.
It was,
Thank you very much. Hari Hari, Jai Shri Radhe.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Sitaram. Jai Sitaram.
Jai Hanuman.
Hare Bol. Hanuman. Jai Sitaram. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. So, Navneet Prabhu, do I have your permission to? Thank you so much. I'm going to end the call and we will meet again at a time that Gandharika Mataji is going to tell us. Hare Krishna.
Hey, you should sit and see